If more of you supported the show, I'd be less sick of podcasts.
Blah, 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 blah.
Sending out good vibes.
Blah, blah, blah.
Good vibes.
Blah,
Good vibes.
blah, blah.
Good vibes. Good vibes.
108 breaths of deep gratitude and prayers for guidance and protection. And put on a didgeridoo and shamanic drumming track. Shivers or vibrations and stuff like that.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Grimerica Show. Coming at you this week, day late and $1 short, with Jason Wilde, who, one of these guys, it seems like it's weird we haven't crossed paths with.
Officially.
Officially, yeah. I mean, he was
Not officially, but on the podcast, you know.
on the podcast. He was following us on Twitter, which made it a little easier to set up the show. So it was a fun chat. I mean, and you guys kind of had a weird you guys have a little crossover. You guys almost met.
Yeah, a few years apart, but we were in the same environment for a while there. Yeah.
Well, now you're podcasting together.
Yeah.
It's like your podcast life is getting out over in your small town, is it?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
The team
Don't know
knows,
yet. Don't know yet. Just
team knows you're a podcaster now. Anyway, there's always a timestamp in the show notes if you want to skip our lazy ramblings and get straight to the meat with Jason Wilde. Good interview. I'm sure we'll end up having on again down the road. We got a couple good shows coming on too. I was able to book that. I forget his name. I haven't got him on the schedule. I think it's Raul. The guy who was just on Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah.
Pillars of the Past or whatever.
Oh right. Yeah. Cool.
So he's going to come on the show. I haven't watched the Joe Rogan episode with him yet, but I was already following him we're already like on the Facebook thing. And then I started seeing clips of him all over Twitter. And I'm like, I swear that I've got a connection to this guy somewhere. And then I went on Facebook and sure enough, so I have him on the show.
It's the ancient mystery stuff is really still blowing up. I mean, it really is. I think it's going to come to a head pretty quick here.
Well, the cataclysm stuff isn't. Remember actually Great Flood was, right? When we went through all the Google trends on the Roundup show, we went through all the Google trends. We tried cataclysm and pole shift, and none of it was even close to where it was in 2012.
Which is so weird. I thought it would have been.
Well, it was ramping up in 2012 too, because that was supposed to be the end of the world, right? I mean, we weren't in it because we didn't start the show. I think the YouTube and the Facebook and the website all launched on December 21st, 2012. We're like the post-apocalypse show.
I'd like to see if there was a Twitter trend search.
I haven't found a way to follow the Twitter trends quite as good as Google. Just has that website you can go to and
but at some point, like when does Google, like people aren't using Google the same, right, anymore?
No, I barely use Google anyway. I mean, Google's got to be like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah,
they just had their knees sort of completely cut out from it. Sort of this. It's hard to believe that the landscape could change that quickly. I wonder how much of their revenue was coming from search, because that's got to be almost completely gone now. I mean, they're already losing some of it, right? Because you had like these censorship things where people were going to other browsers already. So you start to lose a little bit of market share there. People are going to other search engines. And then all these GPTs come out and just completely take your lunch. Now, I guess the question would be, are they using Google? And even if they are, it's not putting the advertisements in front of me.
Yeah.
Or whatever their revenue is. You know what I mean?
Well, Gemini they've probably made up for a lot of that with Gemini, no?
I don't know. I've never used Gemini.
Yeah, either have I. I think it's just on the Google homepage. It's just AI mode, I guess. So you click on AI mode, and then so I guess it's just right there built into the main Google search page. So maybe a lot of people that are using Google still just do that and they switch to AI mode.
I heard Claude was pretty good.
At creating its own religion.
Is that what's going on with is that the Molt book thing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So it's making a religion?
Well, I mean, yeah, kinda.
I haven't been keeping up. I was just reading the thing today that said
It was a fraud.
no, that Claude and GPT were sort of ahead of the curve right now for at least for coding and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's the best case use. I mean, how many people are using it like we're using it? You know, most people are just going to use it as a search engine most of the time.
Yeah, as a research tool. Yeah.
Yeah, not even at a high level. Not like, you know, scour the webs and find this and this and this. Most people are just going to use it as a search engine. Find me the website because it's good at finding websites. Way better than Google ever was.
Yeah, I think it's good at doing analysis. It's good at answering a question directly.
You just never know what's made up.
No, I mean most of the time it's for light questions and stuff. It's pretty accurate.
It's not bad, but I don't know that it's getting better. It
But the
seems like,
tool, I think it's the agentic stuff is really going to make a difference when you can really like basically you have it trained as a human really to do a bunch of like administrative stuff. You know, this is what I do. This is what I need you to do. You go out here and get all this info, and then you put it here, and then you do this and that.
yeah,
I think that's coming really quick. Like,
yeah, like a coding's going to be the big one. Coding's going to be a big one. And data stuff. Because it's still not even at the point yet where I can like up and say a report or a paper that I get off of academia or something that I think might be good show content, but it's like 70 pages long and you don't want to read the whole thing. And it's like, at what point can I upload this PDF to you? Say, break this down into a presentation. Take out all the graphs that are going to be, you know, like, or even if you have to just
can't
take
do that yet. You don't think?
it doesn't seem like it. No, it doesn't. It seems
Can
like
it give you a good summary of it at least?
dude, it seems like it has a real hard problem. It does seem to do good summaries. So if you can like upload, so the problem, I guess, is how much of the text that I'm uploading is actually reading. Is the summary it's given me, say because when I'm doing a summary, I'm more like, I need a summary description for an audiobook, or I need a this or a that. So instead of just mining the web for everyone else's description and rewording those, here's the fucking book. Read it and make a description. But I don't know that I can't rule out that it's not just reading the first 50 pages and then hitting some sort of character limit and just doing the thing on that. And I would never really know, you know, I would never really notice. You might notice because you've read the whole book. You might be able to read the summary and say, hey, this is not really talking about, but most people, you're just never going to notice. So, and the other thing I've had is when I'll try and like have it do a PDF for me and it says it's going to do it. It's all going to be fine. I'm going to do all this. Like just an easy one too, like where I'll upload all of our audiobooks. I'll be like, hey, I want you to like, I need to start cross-referencing some stuff. So I want to
hang on. You'll upload just the name of them all?
All the names. Yeah.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, now put this in a PDF so that I can start crossing them off. Or, you know, I need just a working list of these sort of things. Because I tried having it put into spreadsheets and it's just complete gobbledygook. Same with the PDF. I'll get the PDF back and I'll open it up and it'll have like 12 books on it. And the rest are somehow missing, even after I've just physically copy pasted this.
And this is for real AI, right? Like paying monthly for it. It's not just like you're using the free version or whatever. That's
and now it's like it's at the point where this thing is actually. It seems to me like this thing is probably better at giving me the code to make a little rudimentary program that I can run on my own computer to do the things that I'm asking this thing to do. Because it can understand the concept and it can build the parameters, but it seems to be losing something in translation. But I haven't successfully done that yet either. So maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. That's what I'm sort of trying to get into now is use the new code version to just make personal tools to help my workflow go faster because we should be into the era of very personalized apps that I don't even have to worry about stealing my data because I've just built it and it's on my computer. That
Did you listen to the latest All In?
I listened to a bit of it. I didn't get very far. I think maybe 20 minutes.
Okay. Were you there when Jay Cal was talking about what they're doing with their AI, with their Claude bot and creating these assistants and stuff and telling it to train itself as this and that? And then
Didn't get that far.
I kind of think that's what you're talking about. He's doing it not as an app, but as an agentic assistant.
Yeah, which is pretty much the same thing. I mean, it's not
guess.
even really an app. I would say it's a program. I mean, it just sort of it's a software. It's basically using it to engineer software that, I don't know. I mean, maybe you could use it to engineer some software that everybody needs but that's going to be tough. Then you're still in the position of having to come up with the idea and develop something that everybody needs and host it and go through all these expansion things. But, I mean, just for personalized tools, I think that might be the real power use of it is just like, what can this thing be doing? It's already sped up and people bitch. We always get bitch when we talk about using the AI. Yeah, maybe it's evil. I get it. But they say my guns are evil too. And I use them all the time and they come in super handy. And
there's also a lot of fear mongering that's over the top about it that is not real.
Well, even if it is real.
It's based on fake information, fake data. It's
Even
based
if
on
it
a
is
bunch
real,
of people
though.
that hate the admin that's pushing AI innovation. I mean, there's a political
Even if it is real, though. So what? Me not using it isn't going to stop it from.
Yeah,
happening.
that's kind of where I'm at. It's coming no matter what. You can't really stop it. So
Yeah, it's like resisting the internet. And it might lead someplace terrible. I mean, maybe it did. You can't argue that. It's a coin toss on whether the internet turned out to be a good idea or not. Here we are. It has a bunch of great aspects and it has a bunch of bad aspects. And it seems like AI is going to be the same sort of thing. But for now, at least, I don't know that it's going to get better at writing. The video thing seems to be getting better.
Oh, sure. Dude, have you seen that China one? See something? What is it called? See view, see something? And this film director, was it a director or creator said it basically will do 95% of the work now. And these movies are unbelievable with this Chinese. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen all of them. I've seen some of them. Like there's that one you and I were watching. They're still short and they're getting built in segments. And I don't know how much it's costing. But it can't be costing what it used to cost to make a movie. So I guess it's just going to see which way this goes. Because if I have the ability, I mean, you always have the worry of control mechanisms and everything else, which is already happening. All that is happening. But if I have the ability to do 5 things at once that I didn't have the ability to do before, at what point can I not ignore it and just left in the fucking dust? This is our job.
It's efficiency. We're trying to make a living. Like you can't, we're gonna.
Yeah, exactly. So if I can not spend all day doing something, even if I can spend all day making a robot that will now do something that used to take me a whole day per project, and it can just do it itself, even if it takes all day, but it's doing it in the background while I'm doing other things. Because it's all different levels of AI. I mean, you look at Studio One that I'm using to edit all the podcasts that we've been using for 13 years now. You want to talk about AI? Look how far that shit has come over the last 10 years. It's like automating a bunch of this stuff, auto fades. I can get it to do all these things. I've built robots within Studio One that do the audiobook stuff for me. Stuff that used to take me all fucking day. I can just have Studio One do most of that in the background now. And That's different levels of AI. This whole new project where we're re-uploading everything to Spotify, but we got to take off the intros and we got to take off the. Even that used to be a huge pain in the ass, where it would take you almost all day, and then to fucking mix that thing down would take another 8 hours while it encodes it all, and then you got to upload it. And now I can do one in 5 minutes with DaVinci, which is again got all these little AI programs built into it, so that I can say, find the music, so I can cut that up, find these points in it, so that I can go along to do this and snap to the end and make the fucking artwork in the back dance around a little bit so that it doesn't get picked up as a static image. So I don't know.
This is the C-Dance 2.0. That's what it's called. Just broke filmmaking. Not improved it, replaced it. What used to take studios and 6 figures now takes a prompt. 10 examples that should make Hollywood nervous. And so this is kind of going viral on X a little bit here. There's a Spider-Man one. There's a spaghetti monster one. There's like an ancient Titanic type one. There's some animated stuff.
They'll be able to use a bunch of that stuff to do terrible stuff. I get it, right? But this is also going to put this power of creating into the hands of how many different people that can now make content that isn't just coming from the regime.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to create a whole bunch of innovation too, and it's going to create things that it's going to enable us to do things that we never even thought possible before.
I mean, if you would have thought that you could download a movie through thin air and then play it on your computer
or your phone, play it on your phone,
yeah, right? That shit was crazy when we were kids. It was fucking crazy. So now you can do all that. I don't know if it's better or worse. It seems better for us because we don't have to work as wage slaves someplace.
But I would caution people that are that have this impulsive negativity about it right away and just say that it's going to ruin this or that like what information is that? Where's that coming from? Because I'm telling you, it is getting political too, right? It's polarized from a political pop culture perspective as well. I mean, there's been all this stuff about, the water usage and the environment and the power and this and that. And I mean, there's a whole other way to look at it where we're finally going to maybe get to the point where we have abundant energy, which we should have already. We've been stalled out in the West with creating, abundant, let's say clean energy, cleanish energy, depending on how you want to define that. And this is going to create finally some innovation with that and some focus on real heavy energy here.
Yeah, maybe we can get down to that shorter work week they've always been talking about. I mean, that sounds crazy. You say never going to happen, this, and that. But man, it was only 100 years ago that the 5-day work week came out. It wasn't.
Well, it was like 7 for a while there. It was 6 or 7. So
yeah, till Ford.
5-day was
5. Right, what? About 100 years ago, Ford introduced the 5 days a week, 8 hours a day.
It's funny. I was just reading the book of Jasher and Moses. Was it Moses or was it Jacob? It was Moses, I think, that talked to the Pharaoh and got the Israelites, who were basically slaves in Egypt. And you know what they were doing? They were cutting stones. I was like, I've been meaning to use AI to figure out like what stones, like they were just dressing and cutting stones constantly. And I'm like, what project is that for? Just in general, like bricks in general, or is it for some sort of megalith that we don't, like, was it talking about the pyramids or something else? Because it's weird that the pyramids aren't mentioned in these books. But anyways, Moses talked the Pharaoh into letting the Israelites have Sunday off, to have 1 day a week off.
Oh boy.
So he got it changed from 7 days to 6 days back then.
So here we go.
Back in those days.
Did I say 100 years?
Yeah.
In 1926, Henry Ford adopted a 5-day, 40-hour work week in his factories. He reduced hours without cutting pay, believing it improved productivity and allowed workers more leisure time.
But he was an anti-Semite, so.
He was an anti-Semite. I mean, and probably, I'm sure he did some weird shit along the way. But so it's only been 100 years with the 5-hour work week, and it's like a 5-day work week. Before that, it was pretty much just work every day. Maybe you got Sunday off, like you said, thanks to Moses. So there's 2,000 years of Sundays off, and then 100 years of Saturdays off. So maybe we can actually, I mean, I agree. It's probably not going to happen. But at the same time, you and I have managed to manifest, a whatever work week we want.
Yeah.
And you end up working more, honestly.
Oh yeah, totally. But at least you work at at your own pace or whatever. I mean, I don't know. It's people are going to work. People are going to do something no matter what, right? Hopefully, working in a positive way to produce something of value and not just consuming.
Oh yeah, or you get bored. You really will. I mean, even doing this sometimes, I'm like, man, I could go out and put up a building or something. I could go do this. I could not. I would never want to go back to like having to grind it out every day. No sort of exit sign in sight or sort of strategy. But I do sort of miss work with my hands and just doing things. Just doing things. I can't sit still.
Yeah.
First thing I do, I get up in the morning, I come down here and start working on stuff that sometimes makes no sense. But if you just throw enough stuff at the wall, shit'll start to stick eventually. Anyway, maybe 4-day work week will come. They're saying 3.
Well, I mean, if Elon has his way, it's and I'm not saying I agree with this or I buy into it or anything like that, but it's universal high income, not universal basic income. So
that seems impossible.
Thanks, Elon.
It seems impossible because someone's still got to work somewhere, right? Someone's still got to work somewhere.
Yeah.
The whole society ain't going robots like next, anytime soon. So who's changing my tires? Who's fixing my this? Who's pumping the gas? I pump the gas, obviously, in Canada. I don't even know if they do self-serve anywhere anymore, but how's the gas getting there? How's the gas getting in the ground?
You mean full serve?
Yeah.
They do full serve where I get my gas. So.
I remember in Oregon, the first time I went to Oregon, you weren't allowed to pump the gas. It was like some buddy came out and started bipping at me. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I've never been anywhere where I don't just pump the gas. But they had some union that was holding on, the gas pumpers union. Really holding on in Oregon. I wonder if it's still the case. Anyway, it just seems like there's all these things that are going to happen. So how do you give people money and expect them to go still do that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to work at 7-Eleven if I've got universal high income. It's hard enough right now to find people to work those jobs.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We've had to fill this place up with fucking immigrants to try and do it. So, what, how are we going to get the low level job threshold just keeps sort of raising. And then if you add in that, people are, and I'm not saying that people should have to do jobs they hate. I don't agree with that. It'd be an ideal world. Everyone's doing stuff they want to do. But I don't see who works at 7-Eleven then.
Well, there's also the whole, Buddhist thing about sort of being present when you're sweeping the floor. Like it shouldn't be.
Maybe you have to have a job.
Yeah, maybe you have to do something
in order to get
present, but present for doing it.
Time you can get if you're not doing anything, you get like you lost your job or something happened. You get so long. But then other than that, you can make a bunch of money. You're going to make, $50 an hour for working at 7-Eleven, but you got to work at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And then
then you just got to deal with
train and become a mechanic. You can make $100 an hour plus your add-on. But as soon as you start your
high income,
nothing, then you don't get nothing. So that begs the question: is would we get it? Does podcasting count? You just have to pay taxes.
Yeah, just got to pay taxes, I guess, on stuff you buy, maybe, hopefully.
Speaking of taxes, your taxes are due in Gramerica. It's, we've been doing the show for free for 13 years right away. And you do it value for value. So if you're getting, it's sort of like voluntary taxes. If you've been listening to the show all year, listening to the show all month, you've been listening to the show for 10 years, you got some taxes due where you could just voluntarily decide how much those taxes are, how much your tax bill is. Head over to gramerica.ca/support, sign up for a monthly or make a one-time donation and get your taxes up to date, your Gramerica taxes up to date. We've been trying to push because, maybe $5 a month too much for some people. I get it. We're trying to push that $1 a month thing. If we can get everyone who's listening to the show sign up for $1 a month, that would be more than enough to fund the show and have us. It would be more than we're making now, and it would get us into a position where we could stop mentioning this every week. You're sick of it. We're sick of it. Anyway, if you're getting some value from the podcast, head over to grimerica.ca/support today. Sign up for a monthly or a one-time donation. Send some value back our way. And that is how you just make sure that the podcast keeps going and it's still there next week when you look for it. It doesn't just stop one day.
Become a noble.
Become a noble instead of a pleb. You could just be a noble tomorrow for $1. I mean, who else offers you that? Nobody. So on that note, we do have some people to thank. I want to thank Justin Cole, signed up for $1 a month as a recurring donation. Thank you, Justin. I want to thank James Davis, our buddy from Missouri. James Davis signed up for $21.60 a month, so he's covering a bunch of people with that one.
I got a note from him.
James Ackers.
I got a note from him. Hang on.
James Ackers signed up for $5 a month, so he picked up the slack for 5 of you. And that's all we got this week.
Well, Jim says, hello again, my friends. I've been listening for a few years now. Around the time Cosmographia started, I think he means no matter how much money people donate to Darren should never shut the fuck up. If I have to watch Shriner commercials after I donate, then I'm a Mason. The show is great and helped me through times like the music does. I accidentally signed up for the 2160. I haven't donated in a while, so I'll watch. I wanted to catch up. I'll let it ride until I can't. Keep up with exactly what you're doing. Much love, fat guy from Missouri. And I have another one here. I continue to listen to you guys all the time. Another great year of podcasts. I've never been to Canada, but half my relatives are from there. My grandfather moved to the U.S. when he was 15 with no money from a farm near Quebec. Maybe one of the reasons I really love your show. Would like to send you a little Bitcoin. Do you have an address? Mo. So thanks, Mo. And yeah, we have a Bitcoin address on the donation page.
There is. Yeah, there's a Bitcoin address down there if you want to send us some Bitcoin. We haven't got any in a while, so send some over. grimerica.ca/support. Please, if you can, when you can, sign up for monthly or make a one-time donation. And of course, there is that new way we've been telling people to support the show. If you're totally broke, but you have Spotify, you can go listen to Grimerica Radio on Spotify. If you just go to Spotify, type in Grimerica Radio, it's going to pop up. And that's basically nonstop Grimerica. You know, there's about 300 or 350 episodes up so far. It's still going up at 8 episodes a day. And, that's episodes without an intro, without any interludes, without any music at the end. It's just interview to interview to interview. The only thing that does sneak in there from time to time is, of course, the roundups that we do weekly. Those are in there. But other than that, it's just nonstop interview to interview, thousands of hours of interviews. You can just hit play and it'll just one after the other, after the other, after the other. And that's been going pretty well for us. So if you have some people that, like maybe they can't figure out the podcast thing, but they're on Spotify. Easy way to share the show with them. Send it over there. Find an interview they like and send it out. Because that is another way to support the show. If you can't afford monetarily, I get it. The economy's tough out there. But if you can just help us share this shit, you know, we're shadow banned pretty well everywhere. We can't get traction anywhere. Seems like we're getting some traction on Spotify suddenly for the first time in a decade. If you guys can just share that around, you know, share the show, share an episode a week or an episode a day, find an episode in the back catalog you might think somebody might like, share it, post it on your Facebook, and become sort of our marketing. Just help us market this thing. And all that to say, we do get paid by Spotify per hour listened. So if you're a premium listener on Spotify, if you're paying for Spotify monthly, which I think lots of people do, so they don't have to listen to the ads in their music. You can just throw on Grimerica, share Grimerica, listen to Grimerica while you sleep, and it pays us like a fraction of a penny for every hour. So, but right, we do thousands and thousands of hours. Right now we do almost 1,000 hours a day. If we can get that number up to 2,000 hours a day, then, you know, we could maybe shut the fuck up about asking you guys for money. We're just trying to find a way to stop asking for money. As much as you guys don't like to hear it, it sucks more to ask. So,
well, listen, I was just going to say, we don't have ads in any of our content, right? There's no ads embedded in our content. So, when you go to Spotify
put ads in.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, but not if you're a premium member.
Right. No, that's okay. Not if you're a premium member. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, otherwise we don't have any ads and we don't put them in our normal content.
We don't put the ads in. Spotify does.
Right.
And it's something we wouldn't have really considered before, but honestly, they pay us 10 times what YouTube pays us. They take the video files and don't delete them like YouTube does. And, it's just, they want to put ads in them. It's the biggest growth mechanism we've had in a decade, honestly, for this podcast. It's been sort of stagnant since the vaccine debate in 2018 or 2017, whenever that was. There was the right-wing debacle when everyone said we turned into right-wingers back in 2016 and got shadow banned everywhere. So this is for the first time, it seems like our content is growing organically on a platform and it's actually pushing it and people are consuming it. And we're just going to let that ride. I mean, if you don't have Spotify Premium, just listen here and it'll never have ads in this. So,
yeah.
But we got to do something because, this, as much as we love it, it can't be a full passion project when it's your livelihood. Otherwise, you got to fill this time with things that
pay the bills.
Do pay the bills. So,
yeah.
America.ca/sport. Hey, if you sign up for the newsletter, I started this new thing where every Sunday I'm sending out a list of links to the 5 interviews that maybe you never knew we even had on.
Old gems.
There's so many old gems back there. The economic hitman, John Perkins, the electric seaman in Egypt, Scott
Electric
Christ, Electric Universe with Wal Thornhill, Stanton Friedman, hundreds and hundreds of shows that if you've only been around for a few years, you've missed 400 or 500 interviews. And honestly, some of the best ones for sure. Some of those before everything got political. Then we used to all just, I was commenting because in the chat, someone called us right wingers.
In what chats?
The Discord chats. And I was like, man, I feel like I haven't really moved. I was thinking the other day that.
When was that? Like a long time ago, you mean? Or
yesterday. And, man, I'm doing the same thing I was doing when I was a kid, like hunting, fishing.
Well, the whole window is shifted over. So, I mean, anybody not left is right now. I mean, you just, everybody that's not left has been forced into this right.
I was playing with pellet guns when I was a kid. Now I'm playing with real guns. I was just like, I feel like I'm almost in the same space I've been in the whole time, and the whole window has shifted over. But anyway, all that to say, I don't know what my point is with that, but I don't feel.
What was your point with that? Somebody in the chat's calling us right. I just can't. We have we do have we were canceled off Discord. That wasn't because, and that was kind of because. Maybe was that because we were right? I mean,
well, that's how I responded.
Sure they weren't saying we were correct. They might have been saying we were correct.
My reply was like, you can call me right all day as long as it's like the opposite of being wrong, because that's where I feel like we've been for the last fucking 10 years. It was fucking right, but just 3 hours early. Or sorry, 3 years early.
And it's so funny that right just means these days, like, common sense, government, no corruption, little bit of government,
no wars.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy what we have to, just not to send your money all over the world, maybe controlled or some subdued immigration, like planned stuff. I mean, maybe some tough on crime, not revolving door, like just all these common sense things that used to be left are now considered right.
Maybe don't take 55% of people's income. I mean, what can you do?
Yeah.
Anyway, end of rant. Support the show, please. Grimerica.ca/support if you can. When you can, let us know who you want to hear on the show, who we should track down. If you have some guests, I was actually thinking of going, because there's so many people in that back catalog that we plan to have on again, but the world just moves so quickly that might be worth reaching out again. Some of them might not talk to us anymore because we're right wingers. So we didn't have that problem.
Yeah.
And again, I don't feel like we moved too far.
You've seen those memes, right? Where the whole window shifts to the left, right? The whole window shifts over.
Did you see the meme I made in Telegram?
I don't know.
I asked ChatGPT and Grok to make the big boobied moai because we were getting all the hooker bots in the Telegram constantly. I think Nick's deleted hundreds. Thanks to Nick, who's been sort of dealing with the Telegram and all the bots that come in there. And these whore bots come in and they just sort of like some stuff for a while. And then eventually the pitch comes out, right? You can go here to, some of them just have a website in their bio that's like a hooker bot, classic hooker bot. And then the other ones wait a while and then try and sell you some sort of crypto thing. But I was like, we need a bot that is just like a hooker Grimerica Moai bot that just goes around plugging the show. So I asked ChatGPT to make one, and I asked Grok to make one, and ChatGPT said, I'm not doing that. And Grok made it, and it was just a Moai with 2 caricatures of me and you standing in front of it.
Wow.
No boobs. They're ruining the internet.
They are ruining it. Yeah. Well, I mean, X is getting sued for bikinis, and as if all the other AI weren't doing the same thing. I mean, it is kind of a war right now. It's kind of a war. Hopefully it doesn't get hot. We don't want it hot ever.
No. Cold War. Do head over to contact@thecabin.com and come to Easter Island with us. There's 4 spots left for that. I know the MU guys are going to mention it, I think, and Cliff Dunning mentioned it, and the Snake Bros mentioned it. So the spot's probably going to fill up pretty quick if you've been humming and hawing. Ever contact@thecabin.com. Sign up. Get on that trip with us. It's going to be a fun one. Easter Island, once in a lifetime, with some of the coolest people you never met yet. Or maybe you have met them. If you have met them, what the fuck's your excuse? You know it's going to be awesome. So come along on that. Sign up for that Malta trip, which is still over a year away, which gives you plenty of time to get on the monthly payment program for that. Come on a nice 5-star adventure with us over all through Malta, 3 different islands over there. What else? There was something else that I was going to mention. Audiobooks, adultbrain.ca for all the audiobooks, ebooks. That Adam and Eve and the Great Reset one's been pretty popular. Our buddy Keith mentioned and said he really enjoyed it. So that's available audio, ebook, and print. So check that out. Share it with your friends. It's a nice cataclysm light warm-up book. So if you don't know anything about it, it's a good starter over there. I thought I had something else, but now I can't remember it. So I might as well just get out of here, I guess. Oh,
right.
Yeah. I was talking to Tony and Johnny, and we're getting ready. So it looks like Tony's going to be here from around October 23rd to November 4th, somewhere in that range. So we haven't exactly decided the days yet, but there's going to be a couple of little groups in there we'll run through if people want to come up and do that hunting thing that we did last year. It was a lot of fun. Season opens September 8th. I'm trying to get Keith to come back here right after the New York trip with Randall for like opening day. Get him back up here from, it's still hot. It's kind of shitty. It's warm. It's walking through the swamp in the waders when it's fucking hot out. But the ducks are retarded. So it's like, down in the States, in a lot of states, what they do is for the first week or the first few days is kids only. Because it gives the kids a real chance to blast some birds before they learn quick. They learn quick not to go near the shore or, pick up this, pick up that. They get harder to hunt as the season goes on. So they do youth season in the States for that first week, but we don't have that here. The season just opens. So I was thinking of trying to get Keith and Sam over here where the best opportunity to shoot some ducks. But the actual hunting events this year will be end of October, beginning of November. Pretty cheap. It's a great time. You want to come out and just see nobody for a few days except cool people and get into backcountry Alberta. Let us know. Email graham@america.com. Let us know who you want to hear on the show, what you want to hear on the show. Tell us why you ain't supporting. Other than that, give us a bio.
I gotta do. Yeah, Jason's. So he's twice certified in hypnosis, advanced hypnosis, and hypnotherapy. He's got a BA in psychology, postgrad in addiction studies. He's worked in mental health and meditation for over 30 years. Hypnotherapist, Sadhu. He's a writer at the Heavy Metal magazine, which is incredible. He's got this Codex of Infinite Beings. There's 2 volumes of that, which is amazing. Basically like a encyclopedia of beings, which is pretty cool. His x.com, Jason Wilde 108. That's Wilde with an E. YouTube.com at Jason Wilde 5829, which has got some meditations and all. And he's also got Jason Wilde photography.com. He doesn't like to advertise all this stuff and market it, so I'm going to do it for him because it's amazing stuff. Links are in the show notes to all this stuff. Check out the photography, the heavy metal stuff, the YouTube, and the books.
There you have it. Enjoy the chat. Jason Wilde.
All right, Jason Wilde, welcome to Grimerica. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
How you doing?
Pretty good, man. A little cold, but I'm doing good.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. I was excited when I noticed Darren had booked you because I've been following you on X and I don't know where else, but it seemed to be into so many different interesting things. It kind of fit with us, so I thought it'd be fun to chat with you about all this stuff.
Yeah, man, I'm into all kinds of bizarre stuff. I mean, people have called me weird ever since my very first day at public school. Yeah. Very first day, I remember trying to have a conversation with a kid, and he just looked at me and he said, "You're weird." He ran away.
Wow.
It's kind of been the story of my life.
Well, weird is cool now. I mean, it's coming back into fashion, so.
Well, let's hope so.
I mean, even with just ancient mysteries and cataclysms and the stuff you talk about, the deep religious stuff, like people are kind of accepting it. Like I felt like there was a bit of a fight 15 years ago with sort of the new atheists and the materialists. I feel like, and then we kind of started up our podcast in 2013, but now, I mean, everything has kind of changed. It seems like it's way more open. There's a lot of,
it's like a really, it's a big pattern, right? I mean, you're always going to find religion and spirituality increase when financial systems go down. So the shittier we see the world, the more you're going to have spirituality come up. And then vice versa, right? When you talked about materialism in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, it's pretty much an atheist society, right? Where they believed in the structure of merchandise over the unseen in the spirituality aspect of all of our lives.
And the battlefront has kind of just changed. I mean, now it's like the spirituality stuff and the UFO stuff, that's all over the place, but you just can't tell the truth anymore about other things. Or, there's just certain stuff you can't say, which was never really the case with this kind of stuff, right? That people would call it crazy or weird or whatever, but they would never cancel us for it.
That's right.
Nowadays, they'll just, you can get canceled for whatever. And it's weird how the social media landscape has changed too. Like I remember when we first started, when you posted something, everyone who saw you seen it. Everyone who followed you seen it. And nowadays it's like we got 40,000 followers on Twitter. And if I make a post, I'm lucky if 200 people see it.
Yeah, it's the same. Same with me as well.
Unless you go and comment, unless you're arguing, they're not giving you any sort of traction. It's just this weird thing that has geared the world towards confrontation, it seems like.
Totally. Because it's interesting.
Yeah, even in these spaces.
Yeah. Yeah, look at the UFO wars, right? Look at all the arguments about aliens and UFOs. And it's like, what are we arguing about?
Whereas before, it's like that split started when Jacques Vallée and a couple of these guys started saying it's, I don't think was it physical? Was that the first thing? Or was it dimensional or whatever it was? And that was this first sort of, and Graham will probably comment on this a bit better than I do because he's a UFO guy, but that seemed from the outside, that seemed like this first sort of rift that started happening as some guys were like, it's physical, it's nuts and bolts, and other guys are like, well, I'm not so sure. And now, I mean, now all bets are off. They're fighting about everything. They're literally, sort of found dividing lines on every aspect of the UFO community to
absolutely everything. And the argument is silly if you actually pay attention to the ancient texts and spirituality. I mean, they all talk about these things, right? They all talk about Vimanas or flying craft or beings coming from the sky or beings coming from the ocean or beings coming out of a cave. You have the ant people, all these different things, but there's literally no proof of any of it, right? It doesn't mean that it's not real. But when you actually go deeper into the texts, what they say is all of these things are a reflection of the universe itself, right? So none of it is real. So in the grand scheme of things, every piece of spirituality states that this environment that we're in is not real. It's completely illusory. It doesn't exist, and what exists is consciousness, the Godhead, whatever it is, right? You know how everybody says that, you are God. You are God.
Yeah, you're responsible for generating a portion of the reality.
Yeah. And so
kind of why the Mandela effect and all those things sort of start to come into play. All bets are sort of off. It's just like if you can get enough people because you have a giant swath of people that don't care if it's Berenstein or Berenstain.
Yeah.
And then you have some people on this side and some people on that side. And it's like, if you can get to some sort of, I've heard the numbers even as low as like 3%. We've had that guy on the show that say, if you can get 3% is sort of this like snowballing spot where if you can get 3% of the population sort of on board with something, you can sort of start to snowball things into reality. And it's just sort of different levels of that manifestation sort of game.
What I'm saying is that what they're studying is completely wrong. They're studying the wrong thing. They're studying the emergent property of what's coming out of consciousness. Let's say these things are real or not real, whatever they are, interdimensional. Is that they're coming from a source, right? And the same source is where we come from. Honestly, it's really that simple. It really is that simple. Now, the mechanics behind it all are not simple because we don't understand them.
So that we have more autonomy or control over our reality than is that what you're kind of saying? And they've always said that in the ancient past.
What I'm saying,
it's not real because a lot of it is how we react to it, and a lot of it is how we're fearful of it, that kind of thing.
To put it all in a like a Cole's Notes version, this is God playing hide and go seek with himself. That's what it is. The whole everything. Aliens, demons, the jinn, fish, people, planets, universes is God playing hide and go seek with himself.
Can you unpack that?
Yeah, I mean, we have all of our ancient teachings say that there's one God, right? You can say that there's multiple gods in, say, Hinduism, and there is, but there is an ultimate Godhead at the top of it all. And all these people that go into meditation, and I don't just mean like sitting quietly and meditating, but the people that pray for meditation, or the people that sing, the people that draw, the people that create things with their hands, they all end up seeing the same thing, that we're all one. It's all one being. And there is no free will. Zero. It is all being done through lawful measures. So, I mean, if you, just for an example, if you look at a beaver, what does a beaver do?
Builds dams.
Right. And then what does a bee do? It builds hives. And then you can look at all these different species around the world, and they all have a function, and they all follow laws. Completely. And so do you.
The bee has like a final thing is the hive. That's the final complete thing. The bee builds. The other example also has a final state. What's our final state? What are we trying to build?
And that's just it. That's the question. What is it? What is our function? What is the human function? Everything has a function, no matter what. And they all abide by laws. Physical laws, chemistry, physics, you name it, any type of science, they all follow a law. So why would we be any different?
Because we've been genetically engineered by ETs in the past or something. I mean, is that so does that still apply if we've been tampered with?
It doesn't. It doesn't apply at all, because it still is the same thing.
It seems to, though, because there's this like innate human experience is to build things. You know, it's like that you could take some dudes and throw them on an island full of ice and they're gonna figure some shit out, and they're gonna have some weird ice cave system and they're gonna figure out, we're just
So
not.
is that our function? Is that what the function is?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. It's like we can't zoom out enough to really know what we're after. It's like the first thing we had to do was get all over this globe, and sort of now we're building up this communication network so we can communicate around it. So it would be hard to argue against that it's something to do with building machines. That seems to be where we gravitate to as tools and machines, and now machines that can think. And it's sort of this. It's almost like we're here to crack the code, because I get the sense that there's nothing else on this planet. I mean, maybe dolphins or maybe monkeys, or maybe I'm ignorant, but it doesn't seem like anything else is super interested in figuring out the world at the rate we are. They're more interested in staying in their corner.
I would say you're correct. Yeah, at least to what we know of, right? At least to our understanding. But I mean, would you agree with me that everything follows a law?
You know, I can't remember who the guest was. It might have been Eric Wargo that I got to listening to in our back catalog, which it's weird to listen to yourself, but now we're at the point where we've got some episodes that are so old that I've completely forgotten the content in them. So I just want to come on and I'll just sort of get to listening to it. And we were actually having the debate on that show 10 or 12 years ago about free will. And I think what we were talking about then, how it seems to be free will works fine on the micro, but it doesn't seem to work on the macro. And the argument would be to find on whether all those micro free will decisions even affect the macro at the end of the day.
They do. It's like a big domino, basically, is what it would be. I mean, we judge humans, right? We tend to judge them all the time based on everything. But when you see a lion attack a zebra, do you judge the lion? Right? I mean, we look at all the atrocities that we commit, but the atrocities that we commit are based on laws. It's the same as the lion. Do you know what I mean? It's just our function might be a little bit different.
Don't we have a little more control over it, though? Like, because if we start meditating and we start discerning what our thoughts are and our instincts, I mean, don't we have a little more control over? I mean, just magic is real. I mean, I believe magic is real. So what are we doing when we're using magic, or we're practicing rituals that change the way reality appears to us? Like, so I feel like that's instinct, and that's like a law, and we have some of that, but I think we have a deeper level of consciousness, don't we, where we have some say in what happens? No,
maybe till your kids are threatened or something like that, and then the sort of programming kicks in, the laws kick in when we feel threatened. That's what I would think. I'd like to hear Jason's thoughts on that, but that makes me think that it's like you can pretend all this new age stuff, but when the rubber hits the road, that's when the instinct is going to kick in. When you have no food, when you have no water, when you feel threatened, when your survival is threatened.
I mean, let me ask you a question. Do you know what you're going to think next?
I wish. But it's going to be great. I know that.
It will be. It'll be beautiful and it'll be perfect. It'll absolutely be perfect. But you don't know. And therefore, there's another little bit of nuanced evidence that free will does not exist.
Yeah, but can't you control that? I mean, through mindfulness and stuff like that, you can control. You
can get outside of it to see it.
Yeah.
Per se, I'm using the word see because you're not actually seeing
behind
it. But if you meditate long enough and you're doing it from a compassionate place in your heart, and you have removed many things that you cling to. So, I can't go anywhere without my girlfriend. My girlfriend's got to be with me. She's got to be with me. And then you have to remove things that you push away. So I will never go to New York City. Fuck New York City. I hate that place. I'm never going. You have to break down those things. And when you start to break down those things, you're able to empty your mind. And when you empty your mind, you will see, and I'm using the word see in like parentheses, you'll see that it's all perfect, and you'll see it all working, and you'll see it. And the only thing that will cross your mind is perfect and beautiful.
And let's just explain you have a lot of context behind thinking this way. Like you're a hypnotist, right? You help people get to that state of nothingness, I guess, right? So you have specific experience on getting to this state, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I spent about 4 years in India. So I got stabbed at work, and I decided to take some time off, just to reassess my life. I was a maximum security prison guard. I don't know if you know where Kent is, Kent in BC, up by Agassiz. So I worked there, and I decided I'm going to go to Nepal. I had no reason, no idea why. I just said, fuck it, I'm going to Nepal. And so I went to Nepal, and I did the Everest trek. I trekked along, and I did the Everest thing, and I did the base camps, and did Everest. And on my way back down, I was finished, and I was getting ready to, get my ticket ready to fly out, in the next couple of days. And I was in a tea house in Punjab province, up in northern India. And I got up in the morning, and I walked outside, and I was just, getting ready for the morning. And there was a dude sitting in the middle of the road, levitating, literally levitating. I was pissed off. I looked at him, and I was like, yeah, you were kidding me. You got to be kidding me. So I don't know what came over me. I just ran over, and I rolled underneath him. I just did it. I expected to hit something. There's nothing there. Nothing. So I looked at the guy, and he looked at me, and he said, I've been waiting for you.
Wow.
I spent the next 4 years with him in the jungle in India.
Wow.
And this man taught me levels of awareness that I didn't even know existed. He taught me compassion. He taught me grace. He taught me the fundamentals of yoga, real yoga, not hatha yoga, not stretching. That is not yoga. Anyone that says they're a yoga instructor that does stretching, hatha yoga, they don't know anything about yoga, just so you know. There are multiple forms of yoga. There's karma yoga, there's jnana yoga, there's bhakti yoga, and there's guru kripa. And guru kripa is where you follow a guru. Now, this man that I followed, he was outside of being a human, I guess is how I would say it. If you ever meet one of these people, you can tell by the way they walk. I can't even explain what I mean by that, but when you see one, you'll know. You'll know. You'll just know by the way they walk. It is extremely rare to find one of these people. We would consider them gurus in India. You would call them great saints in Christianity, different names, oracles, whatever they are. But this individual here was free of karma, absolutely free, completely. He could read my mind. He could make things appear in his hand. And I can't prove that it's a magic trick or not. But I mean, this guy could read my fucking mind. Like literally deepest, darkest things from my childhood, knew about them. And he helped me. He helped me with them.
Wow.
And,
how long ago was that?
I left. I came back about 2017.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Why'd you come back? You were done? How'd you know you were done?
He told me to leave.
He said, just get out of here.
I got up one morning and he said, Jiao. And that basically means get lost. And
Really?
yeah, I was like, well, what the hell are you doing? Like, I love it here. And he's like, it's time for you to go back and start teaching people. You got to teach the West.
Wow.
And so that's what I'm doing. And that's why I stay away from the promotions and stuff like that. It's just part of my teachings.
Yeah.
It's just speak from your heart. And then if people listen, they listen.
Yeah.
And if they don't, well, they'll get it in another life.
Yeah. Oh man. So, I mean, I got so many questions now after that. I mean, so 2017. So interesting time.
Did you still have stuff here then? Or were you just sort of a nomad? Were you in nomad mode?
Well, I initially wasn't. And then I had to make the phone call back home, and pack my shit up, just pack it up, put it in storage. I don't know when I'm coming back. And I didn't want to leave. I really didn't want to leave at all. And I'd love to go back. But there's really no communication with the man. He has no phone. He doesn't even have a house. He just walks and sleeps where people will take him. they're very well known in their general area. And so hospitality is very open to individuals like that. So it's weird. It's definitely weird. I would have never believed in any of that shit if I hadn't seen it for myself, honestly.
So were you just homeless for those 4 years then?
Yeah. Yep. I was homeless, basically.
What was that like on a day-to-day basis?
It's a lot of meditation. So you get up in the morning at 5 a.m. and basically you will either go into a cell if there's one available. So it's just basically a small wooden hut with a cot, and you spend 14 hours in there. And then when you come out after 14 hours, you sit with your guru. He'll ask you a few questions. And if you answer them wrong, then, you're in shit. You might get hit with a stick or something and told to go back in the room until you figure it out. There's other lessons, like feeding people, like lessons would be one day is just feeding people. You find the food and you feed them. And that's it. And that's basically what karma yoga is. Karma yoga is just doing good things for other people. Jnana yoga is studying the texts, the scriptures, and getting close to God. And bhakti yoga is similar to Christianity, where you worship a deity. And then guru kripa is where you have a teacher, a guru.
Where does Kriya fit into that?
Where does what?
Kriya yoga?
I don't know. Never heard of it. There's Tantra yoga.
Yeah.
But there's so many different types of sects of yoga. Like there's even a type of yoga where they're focused on the dead. And so basically they meditate on corpses. And that's a form. I think it's called Naga yoga.
That makes sense.
It's
so
strange.
what did you do when you came back then? How did you know what to do?
I didn't really know what to do. I tried getting jobs. None of them ever seemed like something that was interesting anymore. Nothing seemed to drive me. So, here I am. This is what I'm doing now. I'm writing books. I'm teaching people. I'm a sadhu. I'm just wandering. I'm a wandering teacher.
Darren, you got any questions?
What is that like strictly online? Are you doing that in the community you're in, or how's that sort of? Are you just sort of leaving it to what sort of happens, or?
I follow my intuition. So I do. There's a big quote by Gandhi, and I kind of live by that quote. When Gandhi was leaving India, he was at a train station, and the people were all, Gandhi, don't leave us. Give us a message. Give us a message to the people. And Gandhi said, my life is my message. My life is my message. And that's kind of what I want to do. I just want to live my life, and my life is the message.
Yeah. And
if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So can you, I saw a couple of your posts about like hitchhiker effects and stuff like that. So I'd like to ask you a little bit about like encounters. Let's say, I don't know if you want to call them demonic or incubus, succubus type stuff, nighttime encounters, like hitchhikers. I looked at your, the advice on hitchhikers, but would you call some of those other like, and I don't know what label to call them, but they're real, whatever they are. And would you have the same advice for trying to help people through like nighttime encounters, that kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, in Hinduism, we don't really call them, demons or angels or anything like that. Mainly, we just call them beings with no body. It's just a being with no body. And my guru used to talk to them all the time, constantly talking to beings with no body. He taught me how to do it. I've done it. Things that I didn't even realize from my past. Like when I was 8 years old, 1986, in Napanee, Ontario, that's where I grew up. We had a big field behind our house, and the Napanee River ran at the end of that field. And a bunch of buddies of mine, just two of them, they were brothers, and they were next door neighbors. We were down playing by the river, and we'd come out of an apple orchard, just a natural orchard, right? One that wasn't actually pruned. And we were running along the river, and we were catching frogs or looking for turtles. And I looked up and I said, do you see? And my friends completed the sentence. And there was I would say it was about 40 feet long. And it was like an elongated rock, smooth, like a river rock. And it was gray with a little bit of speck in it. You know, like if you turn a river rock in the light, it kind of speckles with mica or whatever's in it. It was like that. And it made no sound. And then the inside of my stomach started to vibrate. Like like an electric shock. You know, if you've ever tried to unhook a stove or something like that and you get a little bit of a shock, it was like that. And I blacked out. And my parents found us about 2.5 hours later, just wandering around the field. And the only thing I can remember from that event is the number 108. It was like embedded into my forehead. And I had no idea what it meant. I had no clue. But for the rest of my life, I would constantly be obsessed with the number. I even had my license plate put into Wilde 108, you know, just because of that event, without even knowing what it means.
But it's such an important number. I mean, holy, right? What a number to come away obsessed with. I mean, out of all numbers.
And I got to India and he told me what it meant. And he knew about it. He knew about it.
What did it mean?
It's the most sacred number in Hinduism. One stands for one God. 0 stands for emptiness, which is where you get in meditation. And then the 8 is in the infinity sign turned on its side. So infinity stands for the constant cycle of samsara, which is reincarnation.
But it also fits into the great years and all that too, right? Two of those is 216. Double that again, it's 432, and then that gets into 432.
That's also how hard drives work. 216. Isn't hard drives 216 too? Or is it 264?
I think so.
Maybe it's 264 and 5.
256, I think. 256.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But yeah, I had no idea. I had no idea what it meant. And it all started to click, right? As my life progressed, everything started to click into place. And all these loose ends started to peel together. So whatever that rock was, or that flying rock, I have no idea what it was. I don't know if it was bad. I don't know if it was good. I don't know if it gave me the number or something else intervened and gave me the number. You know what I mean? I don't know if
were they blacked out too? Were your friends blacked out too?
Totally blacked out. The one brother, he won't talk about it. If you try to talk to him, he cries. He just cries. And he runs into his bedroom and you can't find him. Yeah, it's really, really affected him. We don't have any clue a story from him. He's never told it.
Were any of you hypnotized or regressed back to that moment to see if it was some abduction account?
I have. I've hypnotized myself. I can't. It just can't.
Yeah.
You know, I can't get it.
So what if the body, the no body, the beings with no body are like, I don't know if you want to use the word evil, or they attack, they hurt. Like how do you just how do you just talk? How do you get out of your fear to talk to them or to send them love or whatever you need to do to get to dissolve that?
Yeah, you have to believe in a higher power. So, I mean, you have to actually believe in something that's higher than you. If you don't believe in something higher than you, good luck getting rid of it. You know, not unless you start a meditation practice. And if you do, soon enough, you'll find out that there is a higher power. But if you don't believe in one, what's going to make you do the meditation in the first place? These things will attach on. I don't know if they feed off of our emotions, but I would say they probably do. You know, the old loosh farming type thing. Yeah. Some of them feed off positivity. Some of them feed off negativity. But if you do have a higher power, I mean, all you have to do is say their name. That's all you have to do. Say it in your mind.
Did either of those brothers end up like going to India or, you know, something similar to what you ended up doing? Because
no,
it seems related, right?
Yeah. They didn't get 108. The other brother didn't get it. And the one brother won't say anything.
It's worth mentioning that distance from the Earth to the Sun is 108 times the Sun's diameter. The Sun's diameter is 108 times Earth's diameter. The distance from the Earth to the Moon is 108 times the Moon's diameter. And the Moon's diameter is 1/108th of the Sun's diameter.
Pretty interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
and
still imprinted.
You can get into the bigger planets, and it seems like as you start to scale them, they're out a little bit more. It gets closer to
Mhm.
109 and stuff like that, which I still argue with Randall is just like a flaw in the measuring. He says he thinks we're measuring it pretty good, but I still think pretty good when you're talking about
Mhm.
hundreds of millions of miles is probably still not good enough.
Yeah. I mean, even if you look at the Catholic Rosary, there's 108 beads on it as well, and they got it specifically from the Mala in Dharma, so from Buddhism and Hinduism. I mean, all religions are the exact same; they're all identical. No matter which way you look at it, you can try to differentiate between them, but they're all the same. They all have the same message. They all have the same underpinnings. They all talk of a flood story. They all talk of beings coming here and then leaving. It's all the same. I would imagine the most original story comes from Sumeria. You know, the ancient Anunnaki stories, the Awanas, the Apkallu, all of those beings. Were they actual beings that were half reptile or giants? I don't know, man. But it would be more reasonable to believe that they were survivors of a previous civilization, and they somehow washed up on shore. They look a bit different, you know, and they can teach things that these people probably had no effing clue about. And that's why you see civilization rise in literally a month.
So they might even still have some tech left over that last, you know, it's like if the shit went down today and I just happen to be in a lucky spot where my shit ain't totally trashed, it's like, you know, I got my guns, I got my truck, I got, you know, maybe this my boat, maybe some of this stuff is still good and usable, but I can't recreate it. You can only patch it up for so long. The parts system is completely gone. So it's like, you know, maybe if I'm lucky, my grandkids get to see the boat.
You got it.
But my great grandkids, they just see the dust where the boat used to be. And now we're back to like carving things that look like the boat out of wood and trying to mimic the boat or mimic this or mimic that.
That's it. I mean, if you look back, some of the most ancient books, like 3,000 years old, you have the Vimana Puranas, which basically tell you how a Vimana runs. Do you guys know what a Vimana is?
Yeah, well, and I was going to mention specifically because Enoch seems to talk about flying around and seeing the earth from up high.
Yep, that's exactly it. They even talk about spinning Mercury, vortexes of Mercury that power the Vimanas. That's how they fly. They actually tell you that you need to use consciousness to fly the craft. They write it out. It's an actual technical manual. It's messed up. They actually go right through the whole thing on how the thing works to a rudimentary level, right? To go on to your point, Darren, is that they probably didn't really know how it worked.
Yeah, they had no idea what that, you know, that guy was kind of trying to tell it to them, but then it's like broken telephone for a couple of 100 years.
That's it. And then eventually it's lost and it becomes a piece of archaeological evidence that we might dig up, or maybe we have dug up and we don't know.
Or a modern UFO phenomena where they say that these sporting crafts get controlled by the mind. I mean,
that's right. Yeah. I think we made them. I think a lot of us made them in the past, and we're trying to say that someone else made them. Maybe they did. Maybe they helped us. I guess you really had to be there, you know? And I wish I was. I really wish I was. I'm surprised they haven't remote viewed some of that stuff, you know? Remote view what happened in Sumeria.
What about well, I'm sure they have. What about the is there any remnants from prehistory that kind of like, it would seem like it's a remnant from prehistory that started up all these religions and they just got sort of spun up in different ways over time, depending on how but what about, have you gotten and found anything that sort of maybe what's the guiding principle? I mean, other than the you know, the ones that everyone's going to assume, but there seems to be some allegory in there. There seems to be some astrotheology in there. There's some cosmology hidden in there. There's a lot of, so what are we actually trying to say at the end of the day? Because I would argue that every religion has it misconstrued almost completely.
I think they do too. There's always something that's misconstrued, especially if you're basing your entire religion on something that was verbally handed down. Do you know what I mean? It's just like telephone. You know, eventually when you get the writing for it, when you can write it down, is it the exact story that was given to them verbally, you know, or orally, thousands of years before they learned how to write it down? it probably changed, right? The story did probably change. But one thing is constant, and that's the flood. The flood is a constant that stays in every single religious text, and it is the one thing that seems to bring them all together.
And non-religious texts, like all the mythology and stuff like that.
And science
Yep.
too.
That's right. Yeah.
And
Something
science,
happened.
Theology, like I mean, so we also match that with science. So.
Mm-hmm. But nobody's willing to look at it in that lens, right? I guess it's pretty hard to get the evidence, right? I mean, no matter how hard you try, if there was evidence, I mean, tectonic plate movement, if there was a civilization that, let's say, is somewhere after the dinosaurs, it's gone. I mean, you're never going to find it, even if they did have tech. Do you know how hard it is to actually?
I would argue that we found it. We found
I would say we did
one
too.
of them. We found at least one of them. We've got Göbekli Tepe, we got pyramids, we got Easter Island, we got Cusco in Peru. That is very clearly. Oh, I mean, if you're paying attention and you're being like, and you're not being, if you're not lying to yourself, it's impossible to attribute those things to the agreed upon timeline.
We also have what's it called there, Deriyaku, the underground city in Turkey, that houses up to 40,000 people. And then you also have the Longzhou caves in China that were just found, I think, 20 years ago. And they literally show no evidence of anyone living there, but it is humongous. It was meant for someone to live there. They just never did. And I imagine we'll find more and more of these. I mean, look at the pyramids. So what they're finding now with those scans from satellites, right? That's looking like it's actually something there. It looks pretty real.
Yeah. Tunnels from Scotland to Turkey underground.
Well, that's without even factoring in like lava tubes and stuff like that, which would be a natural thing to do. You know, if we knew today that the shit was going down, we would fill up them cities you're talking about. We would start building stuff, which we are. There's a huge paper trail for deep underground military bases. They're sinking all kinds of money into that. And, there's, I forget where I was going with that, but I lost my heading.
Well, it's like they're preparing for something. And I think they are, whatever that is. A lot of people talk about this geophysical event. You have Ben Davidson talking about.
Yeah, it's really spinning up now, too. Like it's really starting to spin up. It's but one of the things we would do is we'd go fill up them lava tubes. It's just a natural thing of, hey, Easter Island's full of them, Azores are full of them. Where else in the world is full of these lava tubes? I mean,
we would,
because you can actually seem to grow some stuff in there. It stays out of there. Because the interesting thing about Ben Davidson and Robert Schoch, they really seem to think that you got to be able to hide from that sun for at least a week. And that's just a guess. I mean, if you're building a whole underground city, it might be longer than that. It might be, it could be on and off for a little while.
Yeah,
I like that. I'm up in the northern hemisphere, so it's like I'm hoping I can just hide behind a hill.
Yeah. Yeah, totally, right? Totally agree. Yeah, if that happens, I'm totally dead here in Ontario. I'll be underwater.
Just shade all day long behind a hill.
I'm in the new Valley of the Sun, so
that's true.
We'll see what happens. But when you look at ethical skeptic stuff, it looks like Venezuela might be the spot to be. But I don't think any of that. So probably none of Venezuela is very elevated, though, right? But
I don't think so.
He's got that as being the X of the spin. So if you're on the X, that means you're not getting 1,000-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah. But the water's still going to slosh back. So
and then you got to ask yourself, do you really want to live?
Well, you got to live, because otherwise at that point it becomes just about propagation than a personal thing. You know what I mean? It's like we're the descendants of some motherfuckers that got through this thing maybe a couple of times. So, it'd be nice to keep that bloodline going, because you're talking about bloodlines that go back past that. And, some of them bloodlines ended then, and some of these bloodlines are going to end now. So it's just like, it's almost like, as much as it's going to suck, it's like this weird sort of responsibility you have to take another crack at it.
Yep. Totally hear you.
I mean, it seems like that Y chromosome bottleneck is almost impossible to explain other than they knew the shit was happening. Yep. They knew that the math is a dude for every 20 chicks is the best way to propagate this thing forward. It's like, we might not like it. Chicks don't like it, But a dude with 20 wives compared to one-on-one, you can actually go forward with less people. If you only get to pick 1,000 people to repopulate the thing and you go 50-50, your odds are not good.
No,
But if
you need 51% women.
Yeah. So, but if you go 95% women, those men can just keep impregnating and impregnating, and you keep these lines, and you have to do these arranged marriages because you got to watch for inbreeding and all this sort of stuff. And
you end up with the Rothschilds.
How these things end up in the different religions and stuff like that.
So you think they left the guys off the ark then? Is that what it was?
Yeah, right.
They left those guys. That's my position, is they left the guys off the ark.
You want to know else? Something really interesting is that the gene that makes us white didn't appear until 8,000 years ago. That's when it appeared, right around
melatonin blocker, since you had or melanin blocker since you had no access to vitamin D in the sun anymore.
There's a lot of arguments that say that it was because diet, right? Diet is kind of how we turned white. But if you look at Inuit populations that have lived in the north, they have the exact same diet as Scandinavians, identical, but yet their melanin didn't change, and they lived longer.
So are you thinking we came from underground then, or like we came from hiding?
It's a theory.
Basically, the theory is we made our way underground to survive, and our gene expression changed because we weren't in the sun at all.
It's a theory.
Yeah,
it's just a loose theory. Just something I kicked around. I mean,
and it would make sense. It would make sense that some of those places you're A, underground for a while, and then B, there's just no sun in the atmosphere for a long time. It's got to take a long time.
And there's only 3% of us
it's got
on planet Earth. That's it. 3%.
Because I mean, you look at these Irish bastards, and those guys can't even like go in the sun. That's not. It's not. You go in the sun, you get burned, and they don't even. You guys don't even seem to be able to build it up. It's like I might get burned the first time I go out if I stay inside for a while, and in the summer I go out, I'll get burned once. But
it's my eyes. My eyes are so blue that I have to wear sunglasses even on an overcast day. Otherwise, I'll get a headache from the sun because my eyes collect too much light because they're light. They're meant to be in a low light environment. That's where blue and green eyes come from. Low light. I was
just watching a thing last night or the night before that was talking about how blue eyes were a mutation, but it would seem more like they were an adaptation.
Green are a mutation. Green is the rarest eye color in the world. There's a very, very low percentage, like 1%.
I have the green ones that change color. That seem to be more suited to that, because I was watching the video and they say that if you have the green and the hazel, they'll actually, depending on the lighting and depending on where you are, they start to adjust for better things. And they're saying it's like perfectly suited for the plains and the mountains and stuff like that.
And they sparkle. They sparkle good too.
Yeah. It's perfect for where I'm hunting. I mean, it makes a ton of sense because you're out in all sorts of daylight. You're out in the sun. You're out in.
That's right. And I'm assuming you're indigenous.
Yeah. The Lakota used to spend time staring at the sun.
Yeah. So did the Indians. They called it sun gazing. That's how they got their sustenance. There are gurus that still only get their sustenance from the sun. They don't drink and they don't eat. They just stare at the sun. I've seen them do it. It's fucked up. They're really skinny.
You just barely get by on sunlight.
Probably pretty wise, though.
We have a past guest that's going to try that. I wonder if she's still alive.
Right? Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's not my thing. That's for sure.
No, so I do want to get back to my question about the protecting yourself or that, because I need to dig into that a little bit more. So, So if you believe in a higher power like Jesus, for example, you would say something like, in the name of Jesus or whatever.
Yeah.
And that seems
or just say God loves me. Yeah, Jesus God loves me. That's it.
But the problem is that to get to that point where you can even say anything.
Yeah, you want to know how to tell? I'll tell you exactly how to tell.
Because you're so scared that you're either frozen or you can't even like articulate a sentence, or like, how do you get to the point where you can actually say, like consciously say anything?
You can do it. You can do it no matter what. You might think you can't, but you can. Another easy way to tell is when they start saying things to you or giving you imprints, like downloads, be careful if they tell you you're special. When they tell you you're special, you're the only one getting this, you are the one, they're a crock of shit.
What
They're
if they're
just a
just
crock of
raping
shit.
you? I mean, what if it's just like nasty physical violence?
They usually don't do that. I mean, they don't have a body. Pretty hard to do. They usually do things to your mind, your psyche. They make you depressed. They make you anxious. They make you want to kill yourself.
Well, maybe we're not talking about the same thing then. So what about like an incubus, succubus type thing?
They have no body.
Okay.
Yeah, like a djinn or an incubus, things like that. Yeah, they're not actually physical. If it was physical, say an abduction or something like that, I don't think there's anything you can fucking do.
Right.
Just pound the shit out of them.
Yeah.
You know, that might be all you got.
Yeah.
But you're pretty much helpless.
So how do you stop them from manipulating your mind into thinking that they're, because that's got to be the way they're getting in there, is they're overpowering your subconscious to make themselves appeal real or something like that.
They're playing with your ego. They play with your ego. That's it. That's all they do. They play with your ego. They play with things that you are attached to. So like I talked about attachments and then things that you push away, they'll use those. They'll use them against you, but they may use them as enticing, you know, like if you do this, I'll do this, or I'll give you this if you do this, or you're very special.
Yeah, the deal with the devil, right? That's where it comes from probably. Right?
Yeah. It's real easy to discern when they start saying you're special, because they will. That's one of the lines they use all the time, if you want to call it a line. And that's the give. That's the giveaway right there. And if you're curious whether they're good or bad and they're being some real tricky, ask them how they feel about Krishna. You know, say, I love Krishna. How do you feel about him? They'll run like hell. They'll disappear. Whatever it is, they're terrified of these beings. Okay, or something.
Yeah.
It's really hard to tell. But I do know they run.
Yeah, I remember we had a guy on one of my favorite episodes. His name was Greg Doyle, but he was fighting in the astral realm of all these things. And I mean, in the end, after like a week-long fight with like a hag, it ended up being love fight that ended up destroying it. Like once he was able to express love to her, it just like that's what stopped it in the end. So it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it's weird stuff. I mean, I'm just telling you the truth based on my experience in those inner realms. So, I mean, it could be completely different, but I spent a long time with this dude in the jungle, and guy knew his shit, man. He knew his shit. And he explained a lot of this of what I'm explaining to you. Yeah. Just I'm explaining it in a Western sense.
Yeah, one of the masters.
He was definitely a master.
Can I ask you some high level kind of questions about our modern day kind of challenges and?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shoot.
So I guess there's one thing that I'm seeing. I just wonder. I'm going to try to articulate it, but I'd love to know what your thought is, especially coming from the Hindu, the religions like you talk about, where everything is one, and it's kind of like there's one overarching kind of deity, and how we express ourselves or as God, or like there's that thing where you are God kind of thing, right? Well, there seems to be a bit of a pushback right now from people that think that that there's this one religion is trying to kind of take over the world, kind of like how that there's sort of some evil intentions behind the Rosicrucians and Blavatsky and all. It's like there's a whole thing like that they are trying to bring in this one religion to like take over the world.
Yeah.
So have you noticed that at all, like a bit of a pushback, and not necessarily from a Christian point of view, but I do have a question about that later, but sort of more about, actually, no, that's the same thing, because the Christians are also saying like, no, you don't have to believe in Jesus. Like you're not God, right? So there seems to be a conflict between the New Age kind of like Hindu type style compared to
like more of a spirituality rather than an organized religion.
Yeah,
they're dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. It's where you get a lot of cults, right? You can see cults coming out all the time. I mean, all you have to do is look at UFO Twitter. You've got people that say their dead mom talks to aliens and they have all the answers, or there's a galactic federation and they're coming to save you. And like, come on, man, like cut the horse shit. Like I'll eat a goldfish live on TV if that's true. If the Galactic Federation is real. I don't think it is. I mean, it just seems ridiculous. Plus, you've got certain religions that might even be a cult altogether.
Right.
I mean, if one man goes into a cave and gets a vision and comes out and that creates a religion, but there's no one else there to experience the divine, there were no witnesses, that's a cult.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, that's what I think they don't take into consideration is that's why there is masters and gurus and people to learn. Like that's why you have to go through, I think, an initiation before you kind of start playing around with this stuff.
Definitely.
So I think they just sort of they put that aside and think that like I think Blavatsky and Theosophy, which is based on a lot of the stuff you're talking about, gets a bad rap for what's happening in places like the UN today. You know, I don't really think there's a direct like kind of lineage to that, but I wondered if you have any thoughts about that.
If there's a lineage between
like the UN one world religion to Blavatsky and Theosophy, you know?
Yeah, I think there's always going to be a push for a one religion, and I don't even think it's going to be a religion. It's going to be a government. It'll be a one world government that you will worship, much like North Korea, much like North Korea's leader, you know, what's his name? Kim Jong-un, you know, where he is the supreme leader. And it'll go that way. But it's not going to go in the way that you think. It's going to go in a way that will be transhumanist. The transhumanist agenda is almost upon us. We're getting very close to having BCIs being installed on just a regular person, not somebody with, you know, disabilities or mobility issues. You're going to have people connected to the internet through the brain. And then you're going to have people augmenting their bodies. You're going to have uploaded consciousness. And then you're going to have people that live forever in an augmented body, in a fake consciousness that lives in the cloud. True story is exactly where we're going.
So is that the beehive?
It might be. Maybe it is. Maybe that is the hive. But I think we're going to see a split in humanity where you're going to see some choose not and most will choose to do it.
Is that the mark of the beast? So like how are you going to navigate that decision? How do you rule out that it's not our greater purpose?
I meditate on it and then I let my intuition decide. Spend my whole life is just let my intuition decide.
Where's it going right now?
It says no fucking way. Yeah.
which is perfect.
Where my intuition is too, right? That seems to be. But we all have that same intuition probably when the same thing sort of happened. You know, I'd imagine that we probably align on thinking all the way down the.
I bet we do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
But that kind of leads me into my other question about like what's happened since I've noticed it, especially since COVID. Like I was kind of new agey in the 2010s and, you know, going through my recovery and all that stuff, the higher power stuff, all that, embracing all this like searching and but then after COVID, it seemed to split even the new agey thing, the yoga community, all this stuff. And because I always thought when you do this much meditation, like you're doing, for example, that you are able to discern the truth or at least discern what's not true, right? I mean, getting to the real truth is a little bit different than discerning like propaganda or not true. But it still shocks me. Like we have these guests on and they're sort of more from the new agey type. And you can tell they're just stuck in this paradigm of like, I would say it's the transhumanist paradigm, really, and they won't say it's transhumanism, but they're okay with the tyranny that's happening, you know, with the authoritarianism. That they're kind of shilling for it in a lot of ways. So, and it seems like the schism happened after COVID. Like some people just fell for everything, and then some people were like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Yeah, I think you're going to see more and more people falling for it. More and more and more and more are going to fall for it as we continue to move along. Everything is becoming a state that is censored. Right. So, I mean, even look at our own CBC, CTV, you look at the BBC, you look at CNN, you look at Fox, they all have their one dimensionality, right? No one actually gives you the news anymore. You know, when they actually used to come in with no emotion and they would read the news, just the news. Remember that? It's a long fucking time ago, but it did happen.
I'm not convinced it ever happened.
Right. Yeah. Maybe it didn't. Maybe that was an illusion.
Yeah, I think that is an illusion. I think that it was just at the time what choice do we have? You know, there was probably, for every news story, there was somewhere between a couple to a couple of hundred people to maybe a couple thousand that knew the fucking truth. But the chances of them ever getting out, I mean, we see some of them, right? You see some of these people back in the 80s and 90s that we just thought were total fucking whack jobs. But if you can extrapolate that forward to Twitter and Facebook today, and they're all that guy. And it turns out that almost all the shit they're saying is true to a certain extent, or at least more true than these news organizations are telling us. I've kind of graduated to the thing that I sort of still give them the benefit of the doubt on history, but I'm even sort of slipping on that they just always fucking knew. I mean, seems to be clear evidence that they knew what was going on in the Arctic back in the 50s and 60s. Yeah. They knew which books they didn't want to include in the Bible. You know, they're like, this one's maybe not that one. So it seems like somebody knew history's bullshit. And the news, I just assumed it was a level of naivety in it, and it's like they tend to include just enough truth in to make it. I don't know why, but there does seem to be a level of reveal in it as well. You know, maybe not in every newscast. It's a lot of bullshit, but from the overarching view, there's just sort of this in the movies and the pop culture and these breadcrumbs they've been leaving along the way that we've sort of been following, which could circle back to them trying to, because at the end of the day, and you can tell me if you agree or not, but this tends to just sort of lend back to that. If you can control the masses to a point, that's why the masses become important, because if you can get enough of them to agree with your version of reality, then it's going to start to manifest on Earth.
That's right.
Yeah. So you can you can't change reality by yourself, but if you can get your cult big enough, now you can. Now you can start to actually change the structure and direction of reality.
And what do we know about dominant cultures? They make the rules. They make the rules.
Do they know?
Oh yeah, they know.
So is that why you think that we're going to lose people instead of gaining people? Because I kind of think that I flip flop back and forth, but part of me thought that after COVID we had sort of gained some momentum on people kind of waking up. But are you thinking that we're losing more people towards that then?
Yep, I think we're losing more and more to propaganda, more and more to fakeness, more and more to the illusion, more and more every single day.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't believe people are waking up. I believe they're sleeping more.
That's interesting.
Is that through just the mainstream control mechanism, or do you think they're just coming up with different offshoots of that to grapple up different people, so that there's not one narrative anymore, there's 1,000 narratives, but they're all with different strokes for different folks?
That's right. Yep. 100%.
So like, sorry to use like a real modern example, but like, let's say the Epstein files. Is that not going to wake people up, or is that going to just put people to sleep?
It can't wake people up, because you'll never know what was in them. You just won't. I mean, we have all these Epstein files, but what have we gotten out of it?
Or if they were even real. I mean, it could all just be.
No, but I'm just assuming that I'm kind of going on the assumption that like it's somewhat real. I mean, it's the same thing we've talked about for years. So
I mean,
it sort of seems to like solidify the conspiracy theories, I guess.
It does. So even though we'll never really know. We'll never really know what was in it. We'll never know the details, and no one will ever be arrested. There will be no consequences for anyone in those pictures. Not one.
No, I agree with that. But wouldn't that wake people? Isn't that sort of an event? I guess what I'm getting at is that what Darren was talking about, that now they're feeding us all these things to kind of take us
wake people
somewhere
up.
else, right? Yeah.
It should wake them up.
But if it does, it's just going to be into the next. It's like a cocooning them into the next control mechanism, is what it starts to seem like. Because it's just starting to get weird. It's starting to get like groupthinky all over the place. You know, you can see how it's like, all right, well, we can't get these guys with COVID. We can't get them with this, but I got a fucking idea.
But even if you did wake them up, I mean, what is the consequence of waking up? What does that look like? We all want it, but do we actually know what it looks like? It's ugly. It's bloody. It's ugly. And it's a civil war.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That's what waking up is.
I almost feel like it's inevitable in a lot of ways that they're pushing us towards that. And I think almost not realizing the danger of revolution, like that's not. Like I was thinking recently about how like those of us who just want to go back to like common sense, kind of small government with some freedom, but laws and accountability, that kind of stuff. It's like that's a counter revolution right now. I mean,
that's what I would like.
Yeah,
that's what I grew up in.
But that's like, I know exactly. It feels like, can't we just get back to that?
Yeah,
that feels like a counter revolution. So very strange.
I wish.
Yeah,
and maybe it will be that after the blood. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I see our future living in small communities that are broken.
Yeah,
fractured communities.
Yeah,
something's coming.
Yeah,
I think most of us can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just like we're out of rope. It seems like we're out of rope on whatever this system is. It seems like they probably know it. I mean, aside from all the other shit that went on during COVID, it's sort of just, you can look at it as just sort of a giant wealth extraction exercise where they're just trying to squeeze as much out of this dying system as they can because whatever's coming next is you need assets, not money. So the money's got to turn into shit that you can sell or whatever that's going to look like.
You just look at it real simple. I mean, we're in the red, right? We are not in the black as a country. And we keep paying for services that put us more into the red because we want to keep the illusion that we have everything under control. What really needs to happen is everybody needs to take a cut in their pay. Everybody needs to go down to make this sustainable. Some of those programs that we put money into that put us into the red, they need to go. They have to go. We need to come up with another solution because, I mean, if this was your own personal bank account, you would be done. You'd be bankrupt. You'd be finished. Your whole household would be done. But because we're a country, we just keep going in the red and they up taxes and they up everything so we can keep paying for services that don't even really exist anymore.
Is that an organic slide? Does that happen? Do you think, is that part of our evolution as civilization? Sometimes it feels organic to me. Like we just have to go through this. Like as things grow, they just get out of control. It stops actually being able to do stuff, to make changes. It just sort of,
They never thought Rome would fall.
Yeah, right.
They never did. My grade 10 history teacher, he told me, he said, every boom has a bust. And this is the bust.
It's a cycle.
Pattern.
It might be just a cycle that is inherent to democracy. I mean, there's a chance that you could have kingdoms and empires last for a lot longer, but it seems like the cycle of democracy is once they figure out they can bribe the public with their own money, it's just a matter of time.
Yep. Unless they want to hold on to it with power and violence.
Well, that's the natural next step. That's why that's sort of the beauty of a place like Canada where disintegration seems almost inevitable compared to the US is sort of destined to slip into empire, maybe UK to a lesser extent. Europe's going back to kings and queens, it seems like. Australia, probably some sort of weird socialist empire, Maoist or Lenin-like. Don't know what's going to happen with the US, but Canada seems like disintegration, sort of like Russia's doing right now. I like to use Russia as the example we interviewed a guy that was, I think, 150 miles or 200 miles out of Moscow. And he was like, the power don't always work, but he's like, they can make whatever laws they want because nobody's ever coming out here to enforce them. Everything is voluntary once you're outside of the city center.
That's good.
Are you still writing for heavy metal?
Yeah.
Oh, how's that magazine going? I mean, that movie had I remember I was just thinking about it because thinking about the interview with you, and I remember having my buddy's dad took us all out there when we were kids.
Yeah.
So cool. We were 11, I think, at the time we saw that movie, and it had a strange effect on me. I was like, oh my God.
I know, right?
Yeah, kind of somewhat traumatized from it or whatever. Who knows? But
yeah, they shoot me like a little dossier, right? They'll say, hey, can you write this is the general topic, and just write me a dossier. So I'll write like 4 or 5 of them, and then they just pick one.
Awesome. So that's
it's fun.
still online. Like that's the heavy metal.
Yeah.
That's the old, based on the old movie, or I guess the movie was probably based on the old
magazine.
magazine.
Yeah. It's been around a long time, since the 60s. Yeah.
That's cool to see.
Pretty wild. Yeah, it's fun. It's just something I do for a little bit of extra money. It doesn't pay the bills or anything, but
Yeah.
It's fun.
What else do you got? I'd love you to mention your books too. Your
I
Codex
got a
of
couple.
Infinite Beings. I mean, that seems like super fascinating.
Check out these bad boys, right? Like,
Yeah, holy, that's awesome.
these are basically just an encyclopedia of every mythology from every single culture on Earth. I mean, I couldn't add them all, but I added pretty much all of them. It's 2 volumes. There's 2 books.
Yeah. The unbroken line between ancient gods and modern visitors. Whew, awesome.
It's like an encyclopedia for deities, entities, cryptids. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Interesting. What else? Is there anything we missed? What are you up to? Anything we didn't get to?
Meditations on YouTube, maybe?
Yeah, I got about 600 guided meditations and hypnosis. I usually focus on things like sleep, helping people fall asleep. But I do some weird esoteric stuff too, like astral projection, out-of-body experiences, connecting with ETs. I have remote viewing exercises, all kinds of different things that you can play around with and increase your awareness, right? That's what I would suggest for anyone is, if you're getting into meditation, do some guided meditation first. It gives you an idea of what meditation is like. And eventually you'll get better and better and better until you don't need any words at all. You just quiet your mind and you turn off and you become nothing. And when you become nothing, you see everything.
There you have it.
Well said. Yeah.
Jason Wilde, thanks for coming on the show. Where can people find all your stuff? We'll put it all in the show notes, of course, but for the people that don't make it that far, we encourage the URLs here.
Yeah, you can mainly find me generally on X or Twitter, and it's just Jason Wilde 108.
With an E.
That's right, with an E.
Yeah,
like
we should
Oscar.
do this again. I'd love
man.
to catch up with you again. This would be great.
Yeah, and it's nice having a Canadian connection for once. Usually I'm on a podcast from the States or Ireland or Scotland or somewhere like that, but it's nice having some good old boys here. And Graham, it's nice to have that mutual connection there that we talked about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had some crazy experiences on Bowen Island, man. We went to that labyrinth.
Pretty nice. Everyone talks about it.
And there was it was raining everywhere. Except in the labyrinth. It was like there was a bubble over the labyrinth.
That's where that big tree is too. That big giant tree.
Yeah.
Opa or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
No plans to leave Ontario?
Yeah, lots of plans to leave Ontario. Yep, it is too bloody cold for me here. I will probably end up in Texas, maybe Washington, maybe back in British Columbia. But it will be a more temperate rainforest environment for me. That is what my soul calls for, and that's I think where I need to be is in the mountains. That's my life.
Nice.
Perfect. Jason Wilde, this has been fantastic. Thank you for coming on the show, and come back anytime.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Take care.
Yeah.
Have a good day. And that was our chat with Jason Wilde, hypnotherapist and Sadhu. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was great. It was fun.
A fun one, huh?
Yeah.
That was a good one. You mentioned him, and you sent me a post of his, I think, and then it turned out that he was following us on Twitter. So I was like, oh, yeah. Might as
I
well
don't know
have
if he's following me yet. He's following you, which is good. Yeah.
Well, you're like a lunatic on there. So, see, I come across your stuff all the time screaming at people.
Not being very compassionate.
A lot of
No, I try not to call people names and stuff. I just try to be objective.
Some whataboutisms.
Some whataboutisms for sure.
Classic Gramerica Outlaw on Twitter. Give him a follow. Of course, we're just Gramerica. Check it all out. Check out our new Grimerica Radio on Spotify. Way to support the show. Sleep to the show. Just interviews, no intros or anything like that. Just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of interviews. It'll be over 1,000 when it's done, so check that out. Contact at thecabin.com for trips and events. We still got room for Easter Island. 4 spots left for Easter Island coming up. We got room for our summer solstice event at Serpent Mound. I'll be presenting. We'll be doing a CAC there. I'll be presenting, and it looks like they want me to interview the Serpent Mound guy under the main stage at some point as well. They just emailed me about that this week. So we're going to be, it looks like we'll be pretty involved with this Serpent Mound festival out there. So come hang out with us. Have a time. This is, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or 3 even. You can hang out with us, festival thing, check out a CAC, all that. Have lodging right next to because we're right next to this place. So you don't have to be miles away. You can just have a campsite with us right next door. Eat all Oliver's delicious food. I don't know what he's going to feed us yet, but it's always going to be good. And if you're in Eastern Ontario, I've seen 100% Canadian maple stirrup in the chats. Congratulations, buddy. And I think it's pretty quick to rip down there, right? If you're in like Ontario.
The Finger Lakes?
Not the Finger Lakes. The
Serpent Mound?
It's kind of over on that side more, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Ohio. It's Ohio.
I don't know what if ripping down there is
doable.
It's doable, but let's see here. It's right below. Oh yeah, Mississauga. That's pretty close. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. Ohio just butts up against Ontario, right? Yeah.
Did they actually touch? I think Michigan's in the way.
No,
Michigan and Minnesota.
Yeah, they touch. Yeah.
There you go. Ontario, Quebec people, come on down, hanging with us at the Serpent Mound. Adultbrain.ca for all the audiobooks. I actually just got a message from a friend of the show, Keith, in the UK, that said he really liked the Adam and Eve and the Great Reset. He just listened to it on audio, said it was a banger, so check that out. A couple good ones on there for sure. Some nice short ones just came out lately, so check out that, adultbrain.ca. Leave it at that. Check out GrimericaOutlaw.ca for our other podcast. Other than that, we love you guys. Thanks for listening. And we will see you next week.
Somehow I built a rocket ship out of the stuff dreams are made and popsicle sticks. Please look at my rocket ship schematics. Tell me you can fly to the moon. Tell me I'm not a lunatic. I bet you think I'm a space cadet. I bet you think I'm a space cadet. No regret, I do not fret, 'cause I am a space cadet. In my hands I have a gas can and matchsticks. Yes, Earth is my home, but I need a vacation from all the sadness, the chaos, and dramatics. I'll let you do the countdown. 3, 2, 1, no hesitation. I bet you think I'm a space cadet. I bet you think I'm a space cadet. I bet you think I'm a space cadet. No regret, I do not fret, 'cause I am a space cadet. No regret, I do not fret, 'cause I am a dreamer. Look at my rocket ship fly by, trailing behind a silver streamer. No regret, I do not fret, 'cause I am a space cadet. dreamer.